Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, PCE Friday. How's everyone doing today? Going to be a little quicker live stream today. I have to take care of some things. And it's last trading day of the month. I mean, tomorrow's the last day of the month, so this is the last trading day. It's a Friday. There aren't a lot of good setups. So sometimes, you know what, it's best to just walk away or sit on your hands or, you know what, I don't know, go eat a breakfast burrito, do something other than trade the markets or try to trade the markets. Hey, good morning. Good morning, John. All right. Is Sterling putting up the PCE numbers? Uh, Good morning, Sterling. I'm not understanding the poll, the shift poll stuff. You'll have to explain that to me. You know, all right. Home prices are already at we got the numbers coming out yesterday. Where are my numbers from yesterday? Hold on. The numbers from yesterday. Where are they? Pending home sales. Absolutely disastrous yesterday coming out. Okay? Absolutely disastrous because homes are already, people can't afford it's not we have a shortage of housing, we have a shortage of affordable housing, and people literally won't sell their there's so many empty homes around here. They're just, and you know, because I've been looking, even you trying to negotiate. Nope, we're just going to wait for somebody to give me my price. Oh, rates are going down a bit. We're going to raise the price. We're going to raise the price. Really? Hold on, let me find. I mean, it's absolutely insanity right now. So it's not that there's not housing. There's tons of stuff sitting. Here's a great example. Here's a great example of some kind of insanity. All right, so originally they listed it at 760 in uh, January of this year. They delisted. I guess they realized they overlisted. They got it to 660. Look at the price, Jen. They raised it to 685, dropped to 649, relisted 620, drop it all the way down to 570, raise it 585, drop it 565, and then they bump it up after rates drop to 620. It didn't sell this whole time. It didn't sell even when it was 565. You think some just because rates dropped, you now get to bump it back up? There is a prime example. It's what we oh so I'm not and now what the people think that housing is going to continue to just climb. It doesn't have to drop like a rock just yet, but either incomes have to catch up, rates have to go back below 3%, which I don't see happening, especially with these PCEs is what I'm worried about. The PCEs stalling out here. All right, fine. Let's say we stall out between 2.5% and 3% inflation rate. Incomes aren't going to keep up. For example, personal spending 0.5. Don't pop up things to me. I don't care about a news alert. Personal income 0.3. Personal savings rate, which is not on here, is in it's down to levels we didn't see since the literal everything fell apart in 2008. So how is housing going to keep going? Yes, there'll be some transactions. There are people who need to move. There are people who, you know, will, but you know what? There's not a housing shortage. There's an affordable housing shortage, even at the high end. It's blatantly, and people just aren't. Oh well, I don't have to sell. I'll just leave my home empty. Okay. By the way, on average, we're going to see about 2.1 million boomers dying a year, and they own 40% of all real estate. So at some point, something's going to give. Got on a sidetrack there. All right, what else? But this is back to the PCE numbers coming in. You know, slightly better. Consensus was 2.7 year over year, coming in 2.6 for core. I'm just worried. Super core is starting to climb again. Supercore is starting to climb again. And what if inflation stalls out above the 2% target and they start cutting? And what if it revs back up a bit? I'm not saying it has to go to 8 or 9. What if it stalls out between 2.5% and 3% and incomes don't keep up and people are already stretched? What was the latest? 31% of people can't afford back to school supplies for their kids. It's absurd. Where does quote come from? Today's personal income and spending data includes the PCE. In no way indicates that inflation will return to 2%. It's bottom at 2.5, and with upcoming rate cuts will likely head higher soon. I actually agree with that. That's the same thing I think. Even if it drops to 2.4, or you know what? I guess they said they had an adjusted average of 2. Well, if you're constantly above 2, I don't know how, and I don't know what a friggin' adjusted average is either. We talked about that years ago with Bob. Yeah, Lulu's up the earnings yesterday, and earnings were not good for them. They missed on revenue too. And you're like, okay, buy it. Or whatever. Whatever. Good morning, Patrick. Happy Friday to you. Good. Hey, Jacob. Good morning. Hello, Charles. Good morning, Royal Palms. Breakfast burrito. You're making me rethink my morning. You know what? Sometimes if you're having a bad morning, a breakfast burrito can definitely help. Even if you're having a good morning, a breakfast burrito can even make it better. What else do we have? Kamala's interview, wasn't that a amazing piece of journalism there? Hard-hitting interview. What else we have? The housing. Well, that's only first-time buyers who will probably, if that, and what? Oh, we California. You know what? Why don't we just give money to illegals, buy housing? We're really going to solve the housing price issue by giving away more money. Good morning, Ted. There's a lot of new bills. I'm going to go look at some more this weekend. But you can get better deals on new builds. They're not cheap by any reason. At least around here, they're not cheap. I can only talk what's going on around here, but they're cheaper than used property. And my gosh, some of these builders are doing 30-year buy downs to 4.75. All right. So, we still have consumer sentiment and expectations and inflation expectations coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern. So, in roughly 50 minutes. So, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Remember, final trading day of the month, you can get window dressing. You can get some choppier price action, back and forth swings quickly. I found if you're trying to short-term trade it, one of the hardest days to trade, period. End of month on a Friday. So this is a day, from my perspective, for managing more swing stuff, just manage stop levels or targets if the thing does run. Broadcom up a bit today, but the chips looking strong. Mega caps looking a bit firmer today. Oil looking weaker. Let's just do a quick refresh here. Yeah, energy down, and crude, like there's nothing in crude right now. It's just caught in this back and forth range. That's another one. I'm glad. Who said they caught a move? Richard caught some of the short-term oil move. Good for you, Richard. Just don't overtrade it today now. Technology, consumer, cyclical, comm services leading. Energy pulling back. Fed watch has one, still favors the one cut. After the PCE data today, we'll take a quick another look. We're back solidly in greed mode. And the dirt cheap market at 36 Schiller PE. By the way, that's not dirt cheap. Yep, 70% for the cut, just a 25 basis cut, and now back to a single cut in November. All right. Again, we had Dell and Lulu yesterday. Nothing today. Lulu up on. That was not a good earnings report and up. Here's the stuff I'm watching today. Let me just pull this off. It's easier to see here. Anything on any rally, 56.40, 56.45 is very, very, very key resistance. It would have to really get a move on above 56.50 before we snap into more breakout bullish mode. Key support, very key supports coming in about 55.70, 55.68, 55.70. Other than that, there you can see here's your 4 hour. It's just caught in a range. And if you look back at the daily, so far holding the rotation zone. Again, going into next week, the only thing that gets me sitting up to take notice is if we start closing below the rotation zone again and below this breakout level that we retested and confirmed yesterday. So it turned this into very interesting support. Prior resistance, key emotional close back on Thursday the 15th. We confirmed yesterday with Thursday the 29th. So on a short-term basis, that is a very key area that I'm watching. And then if it were to close below that and then follow through with the close below the 50, I'd be looking for a potential front run pattern down to the somewhere around the 62.5 harmonic. Other than that, in the short term, this is still a sideways correction in my book, with daily cycles getting to the bottom now and weekly cycles still heading up. So we're a couple weeks away still from the Fed meeting. Could we easily still break out to the upside in the short term? Yes, we can. Again, the thing that changes it for me is if we start closing below this 55.67 area, 55.65, 55.67. The NASDAQ, this is a pullback. Still struggling. Very key, especially today if it does rally, is this 19, there's major resistance around 19,690 to 695. Keep that in mind. That is very key on any rally. And for it to really get a move on higher, then it has to follow through starting next week at 19,775. The lows from yesterday are very key, this 19,160 area. Now, daily cycles are at the bottom, trying to turn up on the NASDAQ also, and still not at a top. And you see, even if this week closes down, it's still holding the rotation zone. So same comments there that I'll be watching potentially. Now, NASDAQ is not as strong as the S&P and hasn't even been able to tick off the 75% harmonic yet. However, I will still be watching for some upwards price action unless we close below yesterday's low. Dow, we eked out a new high yesterday. So that's very still key resistance. Just eking out this 41,685, 41,700 is very key resistance in the short term. Major support coming in at 41,365. The Russell, with a little mini sloppy double top. So I'm just watching the low from Wednesday. The low from Wednesday. But we could still run up. Remember, the probabilities are still this could go up to this 2279.5 area, which is the 87.5 harmonic, and the prior very strong topping area could easily retest that. Still holding the daily rotation zone. VIX gone to sleep in the 15s. So unless it starts popping above 16 again, can't focus too much on the bearish side. The DAX back testing all-time highs. Remember, if it breaks out, we are at cycle tops and very overbought in the DAX and getting to cycle tops on the weekly. So could it break out? Yeah. I'd be cautionary, and by then next target is 19,250 area. But I'd be reward to risk is not great after this major run up. Yields, there's nothing going on right now. There's not any good setup, so I'm just skipping it. 10-2s, still above zero, but pulling back slightly. Dollar index is still following through. Percent B buy into the rotation zone. So still watching for some more potential upward movement before a stall out. And then this was a short-term bottom, not yet the long-term bottom. Or at least a longer-term bottom, not the long-term bottom. Crude, quick reversal today. Again, from my perspective, it's just caught. Unless it starts getting above 78 or dropping below 71, it's just range-bound trading. So it would have to be shorter setups. And right now, I don't have anything decent. Gold, the double, never triggered, is off the table. Still stalling out at the 12.5% projected harmonic that keeps trading back and forth below. The only thing I will watch with gold is if it closes below the daily rotation zone, currently about 25.15. Other than that, still, it's got out of overbought conditions by moving sideways, roughly. It's been volatile, but it's been sideways. Silver, nothing has still not invalidated the final targets on the double. The yen triggered a little mini 4 hour. This is a channeling double. Not yet hitting the first targets. So just keep an eye on that. Again, not great today. And yesterday did not follow through at the close on that 4 hour double. Euro, trying to find a little minor support around the rotation zone. So if the euro starts popping, the dollar might at least stall out in the short term. But this, we could be on another pop, setting up for a stronger top in the euro, but there's nothing yet. We have to get the secondary reaction. Hey, Martinez, good morning. Again, there's this why. Spiders. Today, major resistance about 563.30. Major support coming in about 557. Right now, no man's land. There's nothing to talk about. Nothing to talk about on the cues. You got the pullback, but I'm paying attention, very close attention to the highs from yesterday and from Tuesday. And that's that 477.90 area on any rally. Nothing to talk about with cryptos. Nvidia closing right at that level I talked about, the breakout level in here. So now I'm going to watch. If this starts breaking down, I'm going to be focusing then potentially on more of a stall out. But remember, we got between the end of month and then going into next week, and the passive flows still have to buy Nvidia. So what really would get interesting if it still triggers a potential weekly double is still in play. So that's what I'll be keeping an eye on, but I'm really curious how this finishes the month. All right. That is about it. I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Oh, by the way, no, we will not be here on Monday because it is Labor Day. So everyone have a fantastic Labor Day if you're in the USA. If you're not, then I hope you have a wonderful weekend and you have still an enjoyable Monday. And I will see everyone on Tuesday. Bye for now.